Hi guys, so today I'm going to do some follow-up on my garden, really more geared towards tomatoes because we already had some issues that was kind of weird. It came up in my second garden that I had made and that my husband and I put together for Mother's Day. I wanted a few more raised beds and that's what we did. But real quick, it's all tomato related. Oh, you know what? I didn't grab the one tomato. Let me see if I can get this out of my fridge without making a huge mess over here of what's going on. But what I want to show you is I had a plant that was doing great. It's called the Berkeley tie-dye, and it's not rare, but I mean it's rarer. Obviously, it's not like every place has it. So I bought it at my local Green Thumb nursery, and it was I think they're raised out at a local another nursery, right? That not their main company, but another one that they get from out here in San Marcos, California, near San Diego. And so I was like, oh, cool. And it already had kind of a little tomato growing on it. So I got the transplant and I put it in my garden. But after a while, I'll show you when I go out there, it got some, like a big black mark in its main stem. And I'll show you some of the other tomatoes that still have it. But I think I was able to beat it. So I was looking things up. It might be a fungus. It could be that Fusillis or Vucillus, something that starts with an F and something that starts with a V. Sorry, guys, I don't remember the name of the things. If I get that information, I'll put it in here because it was weird. And it basically will kill your plant. It just all of a sudden in the middle of the plant just bends over. It starts getting dark. It starts spreading. It's almost like a purpley dark color. Not just the stem, because sometimes stems have purple in them, but it just was ridiculous. And then it just would keel over, which is a bummer because it didn't do it initially like when it was small. It did it after the plant was growing, you know. So what I figure is that the garden soil that I got was a different brand than what I had in my first garden bed. And slightly different than what I was using in my pots, and it was Kellogg's, but it wasn't Patio Plus. And so sometimes potting soils will come with whatever issue in it. It might have been that the plant itself had it, but my Suit 100s also had 3 of them got affected. I had to pull one completely out, but the other 2 I was able to save. So really weird. But if you're buying transplants or even seeds, you can find them that say VF on them. If it says VF like on the little tag, that means it's more resistant to that fungus. So just so you know. So I didn't know that. I had no idea. So now whenever I buy anything to put in these garden beds, because really I'm not going to be able to kill it. I don't know when, maybe in the fall or winter, there's some kind of medication you can throw on there and kind of sanitize or kill that fungus type thing that might be living in the soil. Otherwise, it's just going to be there always. So anyway, too bad. So just want to show you, I basically had to cut that plant back, and it was such a bummer because I can't find it anymore, and I feel like it might be late to just grow it from seed if I can find seeds online. Okay, sorry about that. So I grabbed the tomato anyway while I had to pause because my battery was running low. It looks like this, the Berkeley tie-dye, and it would have been more red and pink on the inside. Look at the outside. It has kind of like a tie-dye look on the skin. Obviously there's liquid coming out of it. So I'll show you how I ripened this because it was not ripe. It was totally green. It's a green tomato anyway, but super not ripe when I cut back the plant. And then as I was cutting, I was like, you know what, let me save some seeds. So basically, if you want to save tomato seeds, it's a hybrid, but supposedly it's an heirloom now because it's been so consistent that the Berkeley tie-dye is now an heirloom is what I understand. So pretty cool. So hopefully that'll work. But either way, just cut your tomato, take the seeds out, you know, I mean, they have tons of seeds, right? You can eat them or throw them away or do whatever. So I took them out, just put them in some water. This is just regular water. It looks all cloudy now because they've been sitting out for like 5 or 6 days. And basically you want that little, you know, the little slimy stuff around the tomato seed to kind of want to pull away. Like instead of you just picking it off, you're fermenting it basically. So let that pull away. Then I'm going to wash it in a strainer, a very fine strainer, you know, just anything you might have. I have like, I'll probably use this one because it's only a few seeds anyway, and this is super fine. Just pour it in here, wash it off, make sure all that goopy stuff is off. I'll dry them in a paper towel and just let them dry like on a paper plate or wherever out of the way so no one messes with them or they don't get bumped. And just let them dry, you know, a week, however long it takes for them to get completely dry. And now you have your tomato seeds. So to plant and try to make your own, you know, for next year or later, next season, however. So this one gentleman said if you do it right, the seeds will be good for 5 to 10 years. So I don't know. But so that's that. So I'm trying to resuscitate this thing just by hopefully being able to plant it again. Now, not only did that happen, we also, I guess, have a rat. And my neighbor had said, she's like, oh, the rats aren't going to eat them? Like, my tomatoes. I'm like, rats? Like, I don't think so. I've never seen rats. But apparently they are coming around the garden, which I did not realize. So this is an Amish paste. And they grow in like bunches of 5, 6, 7, whatever. They just put a bunch of them. Totally green. rat was biting a bunch of them, and finally decided, you know what, they're not ready anyway. So the thing was like sampling them, just taking a bite and not even taking a bite out of it, just putting his teeth in it, you know, or hers. I'm like, oh, that's so horrible. So another issue. So I'm like, okay, you know, what am I gonna just pull them out? Because I do not want rats just running around. They do that at night too. So I just decided to leave the one that it kept biting because it already bit it anyway. I threw away a couple other ones. I cut them off because I was like, oh, I don't want to waste my tomato, you know, his energy making this tomato that I'm never gonna eat. So I thought, oh, you know what, I'll just leave them there because the dummy keeps biting the same ones, and like none up higher, none from another plant. Well, 2 plants he was doing it too. So I was like, okay, I'll just leave it. And sure enough, I just left it. And then actually a couple nights later, I put out some rat bait, and I have not seen any bites since then. So it ate like this little corner of this green block, and I haven't seen it anymore. So I'll just leave that at that. But anyway, I had to cut off one of the things I did cut off because I was like, well, I don't want to bite these. They were totally green. So this is a Cherokee purple, and you can see he's kind of reddish. I think it's ready because he's nice and soft. And these are just Amish paste. One's huge. They look like Romas a little bit. And all I did was, whenever you have a tomato, if something's wrong with your plant and you know they're big enough but they're not ripening, or you just want to bring it in because something happened, put them in a paper bag and literally just let them sit there for like a week, week and a half, however long. So in here I have another Amish paste. I have another Cherokee up here. They're funky looking. And those little tiny ones you see at the bottom, actually I brought in as a bunch. They were, what's it called? San Marzano. So obviously it's a little bit small. I mean, he's pretty skinny, but they're finally ripening. So it did take a little while. It's getting softer, nice and red. Just throw them in a bag, put them in with some friends that are also putting out, you know, whatever, not chemical, but they put out like carbon, right? Or whatever. They just help each other out with the gases that are being put out from them. So it worked out really well for these guys. So look how ugly that is. But it's a gorgeous tomato. It's kind of funky. So those are just the tips I have for kind of like looking out. I mean, I'm not a new gardener, but I am new to like different types of tomatoes and then just as many plants as I have right now. So I'm gonna take you guys out to the garden right now and show you the issues that I was telling you about with that fungus and how I saved those plants. Okay guys, so this is the raised garden beds set number 2, and they are completely different from what I showed you guys not too long ago. This is a lot of green, a lot going on. I mean, these things took off. But these are the beds that I filled with like 15 bags of that Kellogg's garden soil. Now this is the other thing, I was reading it and I'm like, oh, you know what, maybe I'm supposed to use it as a topper for like the top 2 inches, 3 inches to add to your garden. Not so much the whole bed. It does have a lot of organic material. Okay, what you see on the very top is wood chips, so that's why it looks so chunky. But underneath that, the soil, I don't know. And then I added more perlite and stuff like that because they are raised garden beds, but they're not really made to go all the way through. Well, these are, but I have a gopher protection under there, which is basically that hardware cloth. So it's like just little tiny squared like chicken wire, but it's not chicken wire. But anyway, so I just added some other stuff to kind of treat this more as a pot, right? But and then I put cardboard, so the cardboard will disintegrate and the roots will still go through into the ground, you know, if they can. This is like the hardest pan soil in the world, though. It's so weird out here. It's like clay, but like even look at that white spot. And even if you wet it, it looks great, and then it's hard. It is super hard, so it's really weird. But anyway, not the best stuff. And gophers, so all that. But okay, so this is my little Berkeley tie-dye, who was basically this tall and then just stayed there. And then that brown purple spot, you know, just kept growing. And I was just like, this thing is getting really bad. I'm gonna cut it off before it starts going down the stem. So since that happened, it has taken a little while. I've been watching this. I'm like, if it gets taller, I think we're still good, you know, because you can literally cut stems off like this of your production stems or whatever of your tomatoes and stick them in the dirt, and they will grow another tomato for you if you just want to clone that same tomato, or put them in a little pot with water and keep filling the water until it gets roots and then put it in the dirt, which I've tried. And I tried it with, actually both of these plants had the issue with the black spot. It's because that one had a little pair. It was 2 of them in the pot. You know how sometimes you buy a plant and there's 2 in there because they put 2 seeds and they both took off? Well, that one seed, the other one completely died. So this one's healthy, but the other one died, and they were right next to each other. So kind of weird. So, so I did take, you know, some sections of leaves off the one that I had cut, because I cut it down, and those just got horrible, like that fungus, whatever it is. It was like, not in the water, but it was just really bad. So they were never gonna do their own. Those are my neighbor's doggies. He has American Bulldogs. But anyway, I cut the main stem down to here, you guys. I don't know if you can see that. It just cut right there. Boom. So I thought, I don't think it'll die unless the disease keeps spreading, right? Because you can literally take this, stick it in the ground, and it'll grow, most people say. And so I just left it alone. I just kept watering it and, you know, fertilizing and doing the whole thing. And now I can see like these little buds, they were microscopic, but now they're getting bigger. There's another set in the back. And then this is my big boy I'm waiting to open up. Where is she? Oh, right here. Right here. Hopefully it doesn't fall off. But that's the one that was initially kind of there. Well, after, you know, I lopped it off. And so that's gonna grow. I mean, there's another production stem down here, or sucker, whatever you want to call it. If you cut them off, obviously it's not gonna get you tomatoes, but if you let it grow, it will bring out tomatoes for you. So I was at a white butterfly. I've been chasing these white moths every day, all the time. So that's how I took care of that one. This guy, like I said, he had a little mate with him that totally got that black-brown stem, and it just wasn't working out. It's a big boy. And so I cut it out, and what's weird is like in the very middle you'll see that it's still green, but the whole outside of the stem, and I'll show you right now, is like a dark brown, ugly. So it looks like the fluids and vitamin, everything should still be going up and down the stem, but it won't. And then it's kind of like slimy. If you touch it on the inside, it's slimy, and then that outer shell is like hard, super hard, not like, you know, a plant would be that's nice and fresh. Oh, by the way, these guys are it's been like overcast. Today's like the first sunny day. We're going into July, and it just has no sun. So even though these plants look great and they look awesome, like that's a squash back there and he's nice and green, he did have some yellow spots, and basically it's from water, and then it just sits there and it's kind of humid, and it was just putting that nastiness all over my plants. So let me show you what I've been using. As soon as I noticed that little disease showing up, whatever it could be, because there's like 6 or 7 different things that kind of attack tomato plants. Like I said, these guys are yellowing, but I think they're getting better. The tops are looking more green. So hopefully now that the sun is out, and it's supposed to be 80s, mid 70s now forward, then we're good. So initially I was just using water in a spray bottle like this. It's a big spray bottle with like 5 or 6 teaspoons, maybe 3 tablespoons, of oxygen peroxide. And you can do that with these guys too, the ones that are showing signs of like that mildew kind of thing. Or recently I went and picked this up because I thought, well, it's not really helping that much on some of the plants, but let me try something else. So I use this copper soap fungicide. So it's supposed to kill lots of different funguses that might come up, and I thought, well, might as well try it. So let me show you where some plants that I was able to save, they stopped the progression of that stuff, and they're growing and they're looking great. So hopefully we'll be able to see them. Here was a sweet, these were all sweet 100s. There was 6 of them. This one I had to pull out because it was completely just, he was done. He did that thing where it kind of flopped over in the middle. So there was nothing to do about that. But, oh gosh, let me see if I can get in here. Like this little guy, I don't really want to touch it because I don't want to touch it and touch another plant just in case that's still alive. But see that stem? So it hasn't spread much more. So as soon as I noticed it, I started spraying it with the oxygen peroxide and water. And really it hasn't grown much more since then. When I used that fungicide spray, I just did it just because, you know, I wanted to do something more. But look at that. And now it's, the root or that stem is getting bigger and growing, and the whole plant is much bigger than it was when that first started. So I'm going to leave it because he has his little tomatoes. This, like I said, sweet 100. They're so cute. Let me show you. Look at that. And they're pretty much all fertilized. Look at that. I do come around and kind of shake my cages just to shake the tomatoes, but there's another set up here on top. Hopefully you can see there. And they're so cute. They put out like 8 to 10 tomatoes on each little group, and they fertilize. Like, I haven't done anything. There was another sweet 100 here. I pulled it out. I put in a San Marzano, who is supposedly V and F resistant. Oh my gosh, look at my peas. I've never grown peas before, guys. And I tell my husband I keep not seeing them. I'm like, there they are, and then I miss them. I'm not gonna touch it. But look at this little pea right here and that one back there. They're growing, and then I grew some from seed because I thought, well, you know what? I bought transplants of these. I just threw in some in between them that are seeds, and they're already coming up. But something was eating those too, and I don't know if it was a rat or not. Like, this one got chewed on, and now it's putting out more leaves. So I just left it there. And so he's putting out his little leaves, but the other ones that didn't get chewed are getting up there. So cute. That guy in the middle, didn't have any problem with that disease. And he has like 10 sets of little bunches of grape tomatoes, or sweet 100s. This guy also had that same problem. Let me see if I can identify and use my other hand, another part of my hand, not to touch it. Right in there, I don't know if you can see that. And as you can see, it's growing now. It's getting thicker. It's even green in between where it cracked, right, as it's growing bigger. So I think I beat it. I still sprayed twice, basically once one day, another time 7 days later. So okay guys, sorry, I'm gonna edit something here. I finished up the whole video and I totally forgot to mention how you can propagate just a piece of your tomato plant. So I just want to show you, this is a big boy. He has a couple tomatoes on it, but this is one of them that when I bought it had 2, and the other one was right next to him. I don't even know if the little stub is still there that had gotten infected. I think it is, I don't know. It's in here somewhere because I left it kind of high and then it still kept turning black and more, so I pulled it out as much as I could. But so she's nice and healthy. There's some yellowing going on here, but see this yellowing? I don't need this here anyway, so I'm just going to cut it off. Throw this away. Not in the compost, but just throw it away. I'll go take this one too, just because we don't need that guy so low. But anyway, so I was trimming her up and I cut, you know, a piece off, and I cut it like just like in here, right at the little armpit, you know, where it touches the main stem or wherever you cut it from. Excuse me, there's, you know, tomatoes all over the place. Like this one would be a good one if I was deciding I don't want this stem here. He has little tomatoes starting. Just cut it, you know, back to the main stem basically, or any of these guys. Anything that's just kind of coming out this way. It's better to do with like a production stem, the kind that look like they're going to put out tomatoes. You'll see some that just have leaves like this guy. And in a while, right here in his little armpit, this guy's gonna grow bigger, and that's the one you want, okay? I don't know how, well, here's a good example. Like this one's just a leaf, and this little guy that's coming up right here, that's gonna be one that will make tomatoes and make like a whole other plant, basically. So that's the one you want. Not so much the leaf one, you want this guy. So, when he's bigger, that's too tiny. So I cut it back the other day, and I thought, you know, I'm gonna try this again, because I keep propagating or trying to do the water thing, it doesn't work for me. So I just made a little hole, like straight down into the dirt, trimmed everything away from this stem, because he was a big guy. Like I said, he had leaves everywhere, and he even had this little basket of tomatoes that are starting. So I trimmed everything off of it. It's probably another 6 or 7 inches long down here. I made a hole, a skinny hole, and I shoved them in there. Just keep watering it, every day watering it, every day watering it. So it's been about 6 days now, and this is the first day when I came out that he didn't look like he was so sad. Look, his leaves are nice and perky, you know, and you can see it better here. These are perky compared to like this guy. He's still kind of like, oh, he's so sad. But it was a different wilt than like when something's dead. You know, when they die, they completely fall over, like the whole stick, the whole thing. So I could tell he wasn't dead. He was getting his nutrients, getting the water. And literally, I woke up this morning, I can see outside my window. That's one of my kitchen windows right there. Just kind of peek out. And I saw that he was kind of perking up. I'm like, oh my gosh, so that totally means he's making roots. I'm not going to mess with it because I don't want to mess with it. But I can tell just by the way it's acting that he made his roots. So this is going to be another big boy. I did leave. A lot of people say just take all the leaves off except for like this little top bunch. I left probably more leaves than I should have, but I did want to give him a chance and get more photosynthesis, get a little more green in there, you know, leave his leaves. And this thing is great. I mean, he looks great. Even right in here, I can see this is starting to grow. Another little production stem right in this armpit. I can see it's tiny. So it's growing. So that's another way to make more tomato plants, you know, after a little while, because now those are going to be brand new and growing, while maybe this one, something happens to it, maybe it catches a disease, maybe it's old and tired. Well, I got this little guy going to replace them, you know? So, okay, let's head over to my other garden on the side here. Fungicidal soap twice. And I still come out here with my little spray bottle of oxygen peroxide. You can do baking soda like with these guys. Look how yellow they are compared to like this one who's super healthy. These are all the same cucumber. These are all Persian cucumbers, which I love. And these are all Kirby, I think, basically pickling cucumbers. Look at this little Persian one. I don't want to touch them. I'm going to try to use my other hand. I don't know if you can see them in there. Oh, where is it? Where is it? There. They're like super skinny and kind of like a 5 or 6 inch pickle. They're small and skinny. And then this little chubby guy. Oh, you can see him down there. So cute. So I hope to get like 4 or 5 of those pickling ones done at once. That way I can just do like a open ferment. Just put it in some water with some pickling agents and just let it sit out. Okay, real quick, I want to show you my baby tomatoes. Oh my gosh, my figs, you guys, I don't know if you remember, I bought tons of fig plants. They all have figgies on them, except for the Violet de Bordeaux. This guy has a little rust problem. I've been using that fungicide spray on it too. We'll see. They all have little figs. Some of them have like 15, 20 figs, and some only have like 2 or 3, but that's okay. Look at this Cadota fig. It's ridiculous figs. And then this guy only has a few, but they're looking really good. Anyway, I just want to show you that every day I bring in like an abundance of cherry tomatoes. So we have this little guy. He's a husky red. And this one's interesting because he makes some bigger tomatoes that are obviously cherry tomatoes, and then like really microscopic tiny ones, like even smaller than that guy. But like that guy over there is a bigger. I don't know if it's my favorite plant. It's okay. I do love you. Keep growing. I don't want him to hear. I do come out here and talk to them, just so you know. This is a grape Tammy G, and I like this one because, like I already said before, it has not a lot of like green leaves that get in the way. That it's hardy. This thing is going off. She's doing great. Every day I bring in tons of tomatoes from her. Like you can see right now, there's probably quite a few that I need to pick off. I do like the way that one grows. This is a yellow pear, and I also got seeds for yellow pear, but that's what I have here, and there's tons on there. As you can see, they're ready to go, those yellow little tomatoes. She is getting a lot of yellowing, but it's an indeterminate tomato, which is weird to me because she's so short. But maybe it's a bush, like made for containers. I don't know a lot about this one. I just know they're yummy. They're different than all the rest, so there they are. And this is my set of tomatoes that I first planted. This is my first box that I ever put out here that we built, because I thought, oh, this is what I'll do. Actually, that's a lie. I started off with pots, and then I was like, well, let's build a raised garden bed with gopher proofing at the bottom. And then I got like bits, so I was like, I have to plant way more things. I do need to do a little watering here with these little guys. So this is just like little herbs. I have chives, thyme, and basil that finally took off. They took forever to grow. I don't know what happened there, which I think is weird. Herbs usually just take off, but whatever. I think I put in some more basil, like purple basil, and that one I need to water because they look like it's drying out. Those are edamame that did not want to grow. I don't know what's up with that. They finally started growing when I didn't put them in this bed. I had to put them in their own little thing, and they started growing, which is odd. I have kohlrabi going, these little green, which I had like 8 or 10 of them, and I don't know what came through and bit them and ate them, so now I have 4, which is fine because they kind of got spaced out the way they should be now. I have those little glass bulbs because I was covering them at night, so maybe something was eating them then. There's that darn tomato I just left after I, see how the bottom is bit at? It was just picked at, but now he finally bit a chunk, and it's just been sitting there. I'm not going to do anything. I'll just leave it there. Little golden California Wonder. It's now turned red. And pepper. And so this is Amish paste just full of tomatoes back here, and hopefully that rat doesn't find them. There's some right there. There's a whole group. And they grow, like I said, in groups. So there's different groups all throughout this bottom area. The Cherokee is ridiculous. I mean, she has tons. I'll show you. There's one right here. He's still really small, but at the very base of the tomato, even down there, I don't know if you can see, there's just tons. This thing is loaded with these tomatoes. There's another one right back in there. I don't know if you can see him. In the middle, down at the bottom, tons. Lunchbox pepper variety, which are those kind of peppers that you can buy right now that you can just eat them. They're like bell pepper. They look like pepper, but they're like bell pepper. Look, I have a few turning red. I have some turning yellow here. Super cute. Jalapenos are a little stunted from, I guess, that weird weather I tell you, but San Marzano. Anyway, we're all still here. We're all growing, doing what we can. It is hot right now. It's 80 degrees and I feel like it's burning. My parents live in the Central Valley and they're like 100 degrees and I'm like, oh, this is so hot. We did pick up some new guys. That's a lemon boy. See the yellow tomato. I was gonna say, did that bit? No, he's just funky. He looked like he had a bite. I don't know if you can see him in there. See how that looks like the chunk's missing? It's just weird. He's just growing weird. Odd. And this is the Black Prince, which is gonna be so fun. So again, just like a dark heirloom tomato, it says. And he has his little tomatoes coming along in there, and they're already kind of dark green just to begin with. So thanks for watching, guys. Snow pea is still going. He'll probably stop soon because it's getting warm. More cucumbers, the different varieties, the Bush Champion and I think a Kirby. I don't know. Anyway, things are going great, but I just want to show you some tomato talk and just stick with it. I know some things can be discouraging. Like really, when I saw that rat bites, I was like, just forget it. We'll pull everything out. But you know what? Let's just keep moving forward and see what happens. All right. So thanks for watching and good luck in your gardens, and I'll see you guys at the next one. Bye now.